Hello, Rebel GMan10A for the second time today. I know it doesn't seem like it for you, but we totally had a recording where we recorded the entire recap and then it vanished off my hard drive with no explicable reason. So there's that. I am, of course, Full Metal. I am a little bit confused to where that recap went, but we're doing it all over again. And McNaughton is back with me. He's probably less impressed with me than he was earlier this morning, though.
I am back again. I am thoroughly enthusiastic to do this whole recap for a second time in one day.
Oh, you
Yay,
love
go
talking
me.
about GMan10A, especially because you've just seen a result. We're not going to talk about it.
We fucking are.
We're not going to... Oof, Jesus, you're one in 37 seconds. That's a McNugget record.
It's probably like my one in 10 weeks as well. But yes, let's crack on and get into this again.
Yes. So, I mean, there's an instant. You look at it. You look at the schedule, and it instantly jumps out right at you. The big fat 6-2 in favour of two thin cuts. My God, my missus is stood behind my study door, waving my cat around in the air.
Your fat cat.
Yeah, my fat cat is being waved at me. It's so incredibly distracting.
Is it not just like that giant Death Star ball of fur because it's so fat?
It was kind of like if you know the scene in The Lion King where Simba gets held up at the beginning. It was kind of like that, but with a really fat Simba.
Are you sure it's not also like the scene from Indiana Jones where it's like this big boulder chasing you to your death?
Anyway, right, let's crack on with the 6-2. That's a big result. That's a huge result for Gremzilla, and quite exciting. I like that. I like a 6-2. Eight touchdowns in one game is pretty good. I mean, there was one in the Big O where they went 7-7, so we're not quite there yet. We do not have the technology just yet, but they were also a lot more developed.
Yeah, that is definitely the case in that team. That just the stat, and the Wood Elves are naturally expected to win that game as well.
Yes, true. Although there was a lot of tackle and thank you parents. We're definitely going to talk about these teams in a minute. Now, the Mark and Nurgle took on the Highland Avengers. Now, this was not as boring as the one might suggest.
Yes.
As long as you have a different definition of boring, yeah.
Yes.
Cirque de Laws, in a bit of a slip and slide, losing now for the second week on the road, this time to the Rapscallywags. Oh, was it a draw? Was it a draw then?
Yeah, they would have drew with the Orcanados the week before.
Mm-hmm.
They did. So, possibly second loss in a row, but that would be next week's results, which we're not talking about, are we?
Now we have Zamaji Severa taking a 1-0 over the Glart Death Grips. That is a little bit more of a surprise. I definitely liked the Death Grips to take that game. But Zamaji Severa, they're having a bit of a late resurgence. Unfortunately, I think it might be just too late.
Yeah, I seem to remember Chug, Sexy Voice, had said that his dice may have left him at about turn 13. So I'm not sure if that was a case of that he managed to hold out the Norse, and then his team decided to be all animosity to each other.
For you, to be fair.
Yes.
Crocodile Dundee's big win from Sugar, taking 1-0 over maybe a season. I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy with that. I mean, I guess he'd prefer the 2-1 maybe, because obviously more touchdowns is more SPP. But you know, it's a win, is a win, is a win.
Meshuggah's definitely kind of picked up the pace in recent weeks, just getting more development on that Lizardman team after the early hits and the early tough games. I remember saying 4 or 5 weeks ago, Meshuggah had like the Armour 9 start. I think he played me and then the Orcs and then the Undead sort of thing in a close, or the Nurgle in a close period.
He wanted to get away from all of the I'm just playing bash team. Let me play a bit of variety and we'll see how I do, and he's doing well. And finally, probably the biggest singular upset of the entire week is the damn Horde holding Orcanudos to a draw.
Yeah.
That's a big result for Hordemaster.
It definitely is, although Hordemaster's definitely in that place where he can afford to take the draws.
Yeah.
So
Orcanudos definitely can as well. He's still, as we switch over to the leaderboard, he's still winning. You know, he's still running the table. He's unbeaten, which is
yes, and it's possibly he's in that I'm sorted for playoffs, play-ins. I just need to preserve the team now. Yeah. In the last 2 weeks.
Hold on to our hat to keep the team alive, kind of thing, rather than
yeah.
No, I can
take what SPP we can get, but we're no needing to throw players into dangerous situations to get it.
Now, we're going to start talking about numbers and points. I mean, I am sorry, right? If there's a certain point on the table where planes just aren't physically possible anymore, it does mean that we're going to spend a little bit less time looking at your actual table performance over the next couple of weeks, because planes are coming up and they're super important. So we're going to be talking a little bit more. We're going to be focused a little bit more towards that. It doesn't mean we don't love you any less. It just means you
don't care.
Wow. Anyway, so we're looking at 18 points from Uppertillo. That's the man in the driver's seat. Now, the second position is really
21 points.
Grabs. Sorry, yeah, no, 6 times 3?
And +3 for his draws.
+3 for his draws, you're right. 21. The maths is hard, dude. I see why Harrington struggles so much.
He just can't count past 16, though.
Yeah, this is very true. McNugget, of course, you're sat there on 15 from the wins and a further 3 from the draws, putting you on 18. That's a solid 3 points behind him, but that's not insurmountable if he has a couple more draws and you can turn some results into wins. That could see you top of the table. And I mean, Lewis, not a ton of points behind you. Obviously, we know there's a result, but we're not going to talk about it until next week. But at the moment, he's what, 2 points behind you? And then we have the Meshuggah's Crocodile Dundee's, again, artificially inflated by a win, which is 3 more points than he necessarily should have. So he's kind of further down than he looks at the moment, because he's played this week.
This is where because it's hard to talk about this without also the relevant games between Meshuggah and Lewis being played, but team difference is what's possibly going to come into play here.
Well, I mean, Gremzilla and, scheduling, strength of schedule, as it were, we'll look at that towards the end, but Gremzilla and Yasarian are both swinging in on 15 points. Now, that isn't a million miles off the lead. That's only 3 points behind you, and 6 points behind Muptillo. Muptillo is an insurmountable target for these guys, really, unless he has a horrific end of season. But if they keep their eyes locked on a second position, if you and Lewis, who has had a slip up this week, have a further slip up, they could still be a real threat. Yes.
Now this week I do play Gremzilla.
I think this is that puts it into a super important leaderboard situation.
And it could lead to be very tactical. So I'm in the spot where if I win one of my last 2 games, I'm in, as far as I can work out.
Well, I'm not yet ready to do the maths. I'm just going to wait till we get there. But we are 2 weeks from the end.
If I beat Gremzilla, I'm in.
Pretty much, although that's only because you got to remember Gremzilla has the same points as Yasarian. So Yasarian is still as much of a threat. If he wins his game, he'll still be in lockstep, just 3 points behind you. And then if you lose in the final week and he wins again, you're joint, and then it goes down to TD tiebreakers.
True.
There's no safety net.
There's a lot, yes.
There's no safety net for anyone. Even Muptillo can be tackled, but I would be willing to bet money that Muptillo is off to Plains. I don't know who's going to join him, but I would bet money that Muptillo's going. Now, Hordemaster and the damn Horde, he had a bit of a rough one in that draw. I mean, he got the draw, but it was a little bit costly, as in it's cost him a mummy for his next match, and that might be very, very relevant. It might not, but losing a mummy for a match is pretty sucky.
Yeah, especially depending on who he is playing. I don't know if we want to just jump and see who he is playing, just to see how relevant that could be.
Yeah, we can certainly make a judge of that. I mean, as well, we're looking into this in this team. There's the other big weakness, obviously missing a mummy. He's got a fresh mummy, but mummies are really good even out the box. Mummies are really good out the box.
Yeah.
What concerns me is the ghouls. I mean, I'm super proud of him for finally taking a DP. So he even tagged me in Discord to tell me, "Look, man, I've took a DP," and I was like, I felt like a proud dad, And my kids all grown up. But
very good.
I feel like he needs to develop these ghouls because you've got one super ghoul, but ghouls kind of die.
Yeah. The worry here is so much of that SPP is stacked on Reaver that if something happens to Reaver, you do have 2 rookie ghouls, and they do only need 1 level to be self-sustainable to a certain extent.
I mean, my argument would be, if Reaver dies, that's about 25% of the team's total SPP down the can.
Yeah.
That's quite scary.
Considering that Doom is also niggled and probably needs to be replaced at some point.
I'd love to see him get Ravager and Marauder, especially with Marauder only being a touchdown away. Get him leveled up, start fishing for those plus movements or those plus agilities, or even doubles for things like Guard. because guard is awesome and we love guard on undead teams. I would love to see that. I'd love to see it. Now we're going to move on. Look at Meshuggah's team. Now this is going to be a little bit different than we expect because he's just had a win, and he actually we talked about this morning, how he had 3 undeveloped Saurus. One of those undeveloped Saurus has now picked up block, so he's now only at 2 undeveloped Saurus.
Yes. Trevor, the Saurus
picking
up the MVP.
I'm happy to see that block coming in.
Yeah, it's having no Meshuggah, I imagine it will just be straight block on all the Saurus first level because it's just so good for them.
He's a very tactical player. He's a smart player, but he's also a safe player. And I'm not going to say, and I don't think that's bad. I don't think playing safe with lizards is bad.
I would say that it's safe is not the word that we're looking. It's precise and needless risk not taken.
Meshuggah is not the man who's making me press my bold button, is he?
No.
But that's a good thing.
He is the man that nobody wants to play.
Because
he is the man that nobody wants to play.
He's slowly but surely just getting more and more control-y, which is when you get six Saurus with block, your lizards just become so much better at players. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Also, the plus movement, Maria is just now 1 SBP away from another level.
Unfortunately, it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about Meshuggah's team very much next week because we're talking about this week. Sorry, Meshuggah. Now, moving on to Zamaji Severa. I like this Norse team. And I talked about this earlier again that you never heard, but no, McNugget's going to go, oh my god, you're repeating yourself. The plus strength on the Berserker is fantastic, but I think I would love to see him going into something like Juggernaut next rather than going for the standard Pom tackle build.
Yeah. The only problem then is if you're giving Pom to the Agi4, what's he need Agi4 for? Because he's on the ground. And a jump up is still a 2+.
Up, right?
But a jump up's still a 2+.
Look, I don't know about... I don't know how I feel about the plus Agi on the Berserker. I know it's incredibly tempting to take plus Agi whenever it hits on an Agi 3 team. But...
yeah.
I suppose if you're willing to use your Ulf as a killer, you could theoretically combine Vodny Zamaj as your ball quarterback, and then have your Berserker as your main scorer. But that's a weird world we're living in.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. It definitely is. It's one that's probably going to require a lot of thought on the next level.
I would love T-Cold to let me know what his plans are for this team. But I also would love to see, with Strength 4, I would just love that to be Juggernaut as a coming up skill and just become this surfing monster.
Yeah.
I love surfs.
Yes, you do. But also guard is never bad on... Norse need as much guard as it can get.
Yeah.
And then if you're getting guard on Strength 4 on top of the Ulfs, it's even better.
That's very, very true. Now we're going to switch over to Ysarian.
Yep, Yossi.
I love
the useless Stormvermin.
Martial Splatters is so bad. And Ysarian can't. I know he can't. He can't give up free touchdowns to try and farm touchdowns on him because he's so close to the lead that he's still in with a chance. But
it's almost like when we recorded this earlier on today, that's exactly what I said, and now you've just went and stole it off me.
Oh well, maybe you just need to move faster. Maybe you just need to move faster. But no, he could.
Ysarian's definitely in that spot where he's going, I need to put levels on these guys, but I'm still in play-in, so...
I don't think he's got an excuse for not getting a level onto Vanilla Mice. Because, I mean, it's a gut runner. Okay, they're really safe to pass the ball to.
Yes.
Kanya Pest needs recycling. I've said this every week. He needs recycling. But all that being said, you can't really recycle him until Vanilla Mice levels up, because running with 2 rookie gutters just feels like too much of a weakness to me. He's got the money, but I just don't think it would be a smart play. But he needs to get gone before he eats any unwanted MVPs.
Yeah. And that's where the problem is, yeah.
I would argue.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I like this team. I'm really fond of this Rat team. I wish with all my heart that he could get Martial Splatters leveled up. Because he just becomes instantly better, even with just 1 skill.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The Highland Avengers. I recognise this team now. What I don't recognise is that player name. Buckfast Barnes II.
Yes, I got rewarded for playing the Nurgle at the end of the season by facing Claw Mighty Blow, and I lost my killer. Although I loosely call him a killer because he wasn't very good at his job.
I mean, also, let's not mess around here. Let's be truly honest. He didn't die to the opposing killer.
No, he died to the rotter that Helgen bought called McNaughton's Target. On an 8-man foul or something, or it might have been a 6-man foul, after I had sacked the ball and ran away.
I mean, that hurts, obviously, but also what really hurts, I think, is losing a second blocker to even just an MNG. Because
that was turn 1 on the LOS against the killer, yeah.
Because we know that you're playing Wood Elves next.
Yeah.
And blockers are great. Like that's an SPP pinata almost.
Blockers with Mighty Blow as well.
That's what I mean. He being only 1 Kaz away from leveling, you know, I bet you're feeling the sting of that.
I am. I think I'm 250k down on the Wood Elves.
We're going to look at that in a sec. You're 300 team value.
But the only decent thing that could recover it is the fact that I did take 2 Mighty Blow early on.
Yeah.
So if Star-Lord, Bobag, or Drax the Sheepshagger roll into Claw next level, I'm arguably not that.
You're not that badly off, yeah. I mean, you really need some guard if they don't roll Claw, though.
I do. It is literally, if they don't roll Claw, they will take guard.
Well, I like that. I like that you finally listened to me, because guard's really good. Now,
but I'm glad that I did take 2 Mighty Blow on them, so that I'm now at that stage where I have 2 possibilities of getting Claw within 1 kill.
That makes a lot of sense. It does.
Yes. And I lost my guard Hobgoblin to Niggle as well.
That's rough. It was a rough game all around, especially because it was a draw. Now, looking at Thank You Parents, we're going to say what we always say whenever we see elves with 15 XP.
Kill them.
No.
Kill them.
Look, right. Vanity Pass. Vanity Pass. Across the board. Vanity Pass from Diana. Probably throw it to the plus strength one. And just level both players in the same game. That'd make the team look really solid. Another argument I would make as well, and I know you've heard this before, but, you know, Latches hasn't. This was a new thought we came up with on the recap earlier, is that Diana is going to take block. Pretty much 100% because she's a killer. And Wrestle doesn't work with killers, which kind of suggests to me Sue, the other Witch Elf, should probably get cycled, because you really want a Witch Elf with Wrestle, in my mind, on a Dark Elf team. Maybe Latches doesn't, but I personally would very much recommend recycling Sue, fishing for maybe either another Mighty Blow or a stat up, and then going into Wrestle.
Yes. The only other thing I would have a wee nosy to see if there's any witches on the transfer market you might want to purchase.
Yeah, we're at that point where holding money isn't necessarily a terrible situation going into the off-season.
But you are at 11 players and 190k in the bank, because what it also means is you can actually put something towards getting the stadium enhancement, because you can now buy the level 2 one, because you have full positionals, rerolls, and a 11-man lineup. So the problem with elves is you tend to have to get these stadium enhancements early, or you'll never get them.
Yeah, because money just becomes harder than when more people start getting Mighty Blow and tackled.
Yeah.
Or you face something like what we're looking at.
Claw Palm every week, and you're not banking over 150k often. So it's definitely something looking at there. Elves with stadium enhancements, like most teams, they have some very good ones for them. The beer stand, even the wizard.
Beer stand's really good, especially because you've got a couple of natural frenzies.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we were saying, you know, there's a real risk of hitting something with lots of Claw Mighty Blow, or just that generally likes to beat you up and foul you, which is kind of what we're seeing on the screen right in front of us. Oh wow, we actually hired Buckfast as a rotter as well. I like that.
Yes.
I like that Buckfast lives on. But yeah, Prince Fatigue, 99 to 31, Mighty Blow Claw, looking pretty tasty. The Warriors, 3 block now. We're getting so close to the 4 block dream.
3 block, yep. It's a Nurgle team that I think Kelgan's actually starting to grow into, which tends to be. I know we've both kind of played at least a full season of Nurgle.
I played 5.
You've played 5. I played a full college season of Nurgle, and it is about the stage where you kind of start going to yourself,
This
I
isn't
get what
so
this
bad.
whole Nurgle thing's all about. Yeah.
You certainly have to play them very differently to how I've played any other team in the game. They're not just a different version of Chaos. They're not just kind of... Do I play them like lizards? Or no, this is a very different team. And it takes a while to find the mindset to make it work. But I feel like Helgen is getting there. And it's frustrating as all hell. It is, because it feels like you lose games you have no business losing.
Yeah. You feel that you get wins stolen from you because you've got Agi 2 on Warriors, not Agi 3, and they have...
And moving
takes so long to get to block,
sucks.
And then you feel that you lose games that you should have drew because your Pestigors only move 6 and your Rotters move 5, and you can't
Let me
cover
tell you
them.
a story about my Pestigors on my Nurgle team when I first started out. They were literally allergic to the ball. Like, they would fail every pickup or every handoff or every catch or, every single time I tried to get the ball onto a Pestigor for almost my entire first season. It's why my Warriors were so developed, because my only choice to level up was to hit things because I could never handle the ball. They were just awful at it. And then I eventually got an Agi 5 and life became good. So that's what's in your future, Helgen. Maybe not the Agi 5, if I'm honest. Speaking of Agi, oof. I suppose we've got to take the team as it is, don't we? With Shem.
I will happily discuss this team if you want.
Right. The Blitz is getting fired. There's no other way to look at this match. Debutant Chancier? I don't know. Fire him. Dead. He's dead. That is a dead player. Agi 2 Blitzer, dead. But at least it was the rookie.
Yes.
So, not too painful. Slightly more painful, I mean, it's clearly the Lush M technique, is you get guard on a catcher, but
then it gets minus move.
Yeah, they skip leg there, is what they do. And they get a bit slow. Ouch. That's going to be considering how important this game and next game is for Lewis, that catcher being out for next game is going to be massive. I really worry for him for his final for the final run of this team.
Yeah, it's going to be Guard Blodge being out the way as well, and he's going to have 2 loners, which I don't know how you feel about Slan loners, but I'm not a big fan of. I think they're because you do kind of need to have that leap.
You bang them on the line of scrimmage and never look at them again.
But they're not like the Norse loners where you don't need them to do anything special, whereas the Slan loners, there is times that you're probably looking, I can leap with that lineman to cause trouble. Oh wait, he's got loner. But it's loose, so he'll just re-roll the loner and pass.
It's still, I mean, it's a team that is really potentially great. For a first season Kislev team, there's not much to complain about.
No, there's not. It's in my mind, it's definitely a team that's on the bubble. In the sense that in the next 2 games it will either make or probably break the team. If they take some more perms, it could hurt a lot.
A game like that.
Yeah.
Now, teams that that can dish out the perms, or not take perms. In fact, Chug Manmilk's team is still really healthy.
Somehow.
I don't know. He's like the Underworld Whisperer. He's the Goblin Whisperer.
I think he's the Dice Whisperer. He speaks to it in those dulcet tones that he has. And they roll 6s and kills them.
I like how this team's building out, especially after I spoke to him for what his idea is. I still think he really needs tents on his trolls soon. But I don't understand why he took guard. He explained that to us last week, and I think it was a smart choice. He really needs some more tackle. Especially, I mean, what I'd love to see, if he can find the time to do it, in between trying to keep winning his games to keep the pressure on, is getting Dilemma and Guillotine both level ups. One touchdown each, a level on both, and I think this team would that's just the push this team needs to get itself over the cusp into being a really dangerous team.
Yeah,
it's already fairly dangerous. I mean, look at it. It's got 2 Claw Mighty Blow players already, one of whom has piling on. It's getting good.
3 Claw Mighty Blow players if you include the troll as well.
No, 2, because Guillotine doesn't have Claw yet.
Oh, yeah, the scaleless and all, yeah. This is a team that next season nobody's going to want to see it in the division. And I think that says everything that you can about an Underworld team after the first season.
That's almost a compliment, yeah. If people are not looking forward to playing you, it means you've probably built it outright.
Now, I wouldn't want to play this team next season.
Speaking of choices to make for next season, he enjoys the pain on Basman's Grob's maybe a season is dead. It might say minus strength, but what it means is dead.
Definitely. You can't keep a strength 2 elf no matter what.
Well, unless they start with strength 2.
Yeah. But this isn't wood elves.
You certainly can't keep a strength 2 high elf. No, unless he's literally a thrower with everything. Like a legend thrower that took a minus strength, maybe I'd keep him because he's probably still great at throwing the ball. But when you've got a line of scrimmage wrestle type guy, you don't keep it. He's elven glue. And
Bassman says in that stage, he's got 200k in the bank, so you know what I mean. He can easily replace 2 and go to 11 players, so a full team. Or he can pick up another catcher. So
I think it's time to pick up another
catcher. He only
catcher.
has 1 at the moment. So
he's got 2. He's got Blodge and he's got 1 with just guard.
Oh, 2. Yeah. So yeah, he could pick up the third catcher. I don't know if I would go
high elves, so I really can't
nobody does
advise
this. I wouldn't go to the third catcher if I don't have all my players to protect it.
No, I think he probably wants
to
put touchdowns in I Look After Orphans to get him beyond
Lodge.
Naked Guard, because Naked Guard is as good as I've painted the target on my phone.
Yes.
I mean, keep an eye on the market as well. There are I know there are a couple of high elves on the market. They're a bit rarer. People selling high elves.
I didn't sell any of mine.
You didn't?
I didn't sell any of mine last season.
Maybe you should, because you had some good ones.
I know, but nobody's getting the hate. I hate you, sin team.
Fair. Right.
Anyway, but yes,
moving on. Check the market. There might be something good to save up for, is all I'm saying. Now, Mupatillo needs no introduction. We've already talked about him leading the league. And roll out, play that funky music. He is in a world where all 4 Black Orcs have block.
That is the dream world for Orc coaches, because what do they all get next? Guard.
And you know what they get after guard?
Stand for them.
Yes. You don't get Mighty Blow Muppet. Do not, listen to me, I'm going to say this very carefully, do not take Mighty Blow on Black Orcs.
No.
At least until your 4th skill.
Yeah. That might work in leagues where you can go through 14 divisions and play AI teams and win 7-0.
It might work in worlds where you can play CCL and farm bad opponents and stuff, but in a league,
guard wins games.
Absolutely.
Mighty Blow gets SPP.
Yeah, if you're looking to farm up a team and be the next Papa Nasty, probably Mighty Blow will get you levels faster, but it won't bring in the wins. What will bring in the wins is having this line of just unassailable green meat.
Yes. And taking Mighty Blow might sound good, but then you're going to face Mighty Blow Claw, and you're going to wish you had that guard.
Yeah. This is something I found, right? The toughest Orc teams that I've ever had to play when I played Nurgle were not the ones where they'd gone for tons of Mighty Blow and skills like that. It was the ones where the Black Orc line was strong and had guard, block, stand firm, because getting hits, the Claw doesn't work if they can't punch you.
No. And you have blitzers to deal your own damage back. So, I mean, realistically, out with having 2 killer blitzers, you can be looking at 4 block guard Black Orcs, 2 guard blitzers with extras, troll with guard, possibly getting a lucky guard on a lineman that rolls it or that. You know what I mean? That is terrifying. And
I like this team. I have genuinely high hopes for Mupatillo as far as where he's going next. I think he's going to Plains, and I think he's going to do well in Plains. He's a good coach, and he's got a great team.
Definitely, yes.
Now, another coach who's proved that he can be a real threat, but unfortunately is playing Choff this week, is Gremzilla. And I like where this team's going. I'm unsure about Spiritstone, Red Hog, and all of those. I know he won 6-2, but if you put 6 touchdowns on 1 catcher, it doesn't actually build out your team that much. It just builds out that catcher. And he didn't get that dream stat up that he was looking for, like plus move or plus agility.
I would have personally liked to have seen a couple of those 6 touchdowns of that go on to the War Dancers. I'm glad they didn't, because I do play this team. Yeah. But with the War Dancer on 29, that was 1 SPP, 1 touchdown away.
And if you
the other 2 away.
Yeah, if you'd have put 3 touchdowns across those war dancers and leveled them up 1 extra level, it'd be a whole different story, wouldn't it?
I arguably would have taken the 3-2 win with that rather than the 6-2, but putting all six on
But at the
catcher.
same time, I'm a big fan of the flashy I-162, so it's a hard call to make.
But no, it's a very good looking Wood Elf team. It's a very high costing Wood Elf team for what it's got.
I'm worried about it having to face your Chorfs. I don't know what he's going to have left, especially because you get inducements and he doesn't. If, however, he does manage to find some levels, my advice would be on Null and Oil. If it's a normal, Frenzy is actually incredible on a strip ball tackle player. Basically, it gives you that second shot to try and get the ball off him when you jump into that cage. Seraphim Sepia, if you roll a double,
you hope for doubles.
You're hoping for piling on, or you're hoping for something like Strength 4. Frankly, would be incredible on a player like that. Because then they can start doing unsupported blitzes.
True. I don't also hate Fend on Null and Oil on a normal.
Fend on either of them is
once
terrible.
You get into the cage and you free the ball, you don't then get passed about in response for being stuck there.
The good old war dance ping pong, yeah.
But you know what I mean? You can then at least fend
or
a way to give yourself
just to bounce around inside the cage where you want to be rather than what they want you to be. Is also non-terrible. Right. That's the end of it. That's all of them. So we're going to look at this week. Predictions. I think Meshuggah is going to beat Lusham.
I think it may be a 2-0. I think that could be our game of the week, right? We're going to call a 2-0 for the Crocodile Dundees, yeah?
I think the game of the week is absolutely you versus Gremzilla, because it's the only game where both coaches really have to win. Therefore, I think there's going to be very little left on the pitch. You know what I mean? You both are going to put everything. You know, there's not going to be nothing in the locker room, and there's going to be everything on the pitch. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's going to be. I don't want to see. The problem is, I've spoke to you about what I may do, what I might not do, and obviously, if I say it now, he's going to hear.
Yeah, I'm not saying tell us your strategy,
but there is a few. The main reason that I can plan different things to do is seeing the Crocodile Dundee Circulars game first.
You can play around that information.
So now I have other things to look into and in regards to that. But hopefully it's a good. You know what? Ideally, hopefully it's a good game, and I'm not going to lie, I would very much like to win it.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to give the next one probably to the Rap Scallywags.
I'd rather a draw.
I know you probably want the Raps. If the Rap Scallywags lost, it'd be massive for you.
Oh, it'd be very good, yeah.
But obviously, I've got every faith in Yasari in that he's hungry. He seems to be feeling this team. He's really seems to have taken well to this team, and I think he's going to want to play for the win. And I don't know. Obviously, with Latches starting to look towards next season, whether it's worth him getting in the way too much of that claw gut runner. I mean, it's
definitely worth him getting in the way and smashing the rats and winning.
Now, Zabaji Severa versus the Mark of Nurgle is an entirely different story, because both of these teams kind of want to survive, and both these teams have a lot to lose on this pitch.
Yes, the Yeti with Claw, the Pescar with Claw Mighty Blow. I think as well, both coaches have kind of hit their stride to an extent. Like, they're both in a bit of a groove, you know what I mean? They're picking up some wins and that, so...
I think both of them just want to prepare for next season, so neither of them want to see the kind of losses that to their team that their teams can both put on.
Yes.
On each other.
Yeah. And the LOS, in mine and Helgen's game, we both kind of said whoever wins LOS will be at a massive advantage. I think that's also the case. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of one of the Nurgle strats is if you win on the LOS, it does change the face of the game. Yeah. Now, I think it's personally going to go towards Nurgle. I think they've got slightly more tools. Now,
true, but the Zamaj does have the Strength 4 Blitzer, 2 Ulfs, you know what I mean? So they can kind of fight with the boys.
And the Yeti as well. They can bully, they can fight back.
Yes.
Is what we're saying. Now, the Damned Horde are taking on Galart Death Grips, and I feel like this is another one of those games where both teams are like, they can do so much damage to each other.
Yeah, the Damn Horde, of course, missing that mummy, which I think again
That actually, to my mind, that puts this game towards the Death
the
Grips.
Underworld. Yeah, but the problem is the one mummy has to do so much work.
It's hard to protect that mummy from the troll at this point.
Yep, and I mean the Glad Death Grips will know if they can take out that other mummy, they will be in an extremely strong point to win that game. And you know what I mean? Are you going to keep the mummy on the bench the whole game?
No,
I'm
going to give this one to the Death Grips. And now,
close, but yeah, I would go that way as well.
I'm sorry, Basmond, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give this one to Orknudos. Muppetillo he wants it. You look at the leaderboard. He's hungry for planes, and I just don't think he's going to let a high elf team stop him.
No, he's definitely a strong point. He does have the tackle pommer as well, which Bassman will probably look at and go, "Oh crap." But in the same point, Meshuggah probably like this is a good last chance to get some SPP on those Black Orcs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a draw.
Yeah, maybe an attempted handoff to a Black Orc or something.
Yes. You know, maybe two, or you know what I mean, even a win, but a 2-1 or something. You know, I would say the Orknudos are the favourites for the match though, with the amount of block and the clawmite, the pylon, tackle blitz and stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it's yeah, you're absolutely right. You've said everything you needed to do.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, I was just alerting Harring's order something in the background. That's basically the end of the recap, and I just want to say for a second, I'm going to make this nice and quick, but I just want to say thank you to everyone in the division. We aren't done yet; we've got 1 week left, but I wanted to get this out of the way. I've been talking to a couple of the dudes in the divisions we've been recapping as well, and I personally I've had such a great time recapping this div. I know, obviously, you probably feel the same, McNugget, as well. I just feel like the community that you guys have built up within this division, where you've got all this banter and all these jokes with each other, and you kind of everyone's having a bit of a laugh and pushing backwards and forwards with each other and watching each other. I see us pop up in the Discord, like when someone's match results come in and you're commentating on it and stuff. And I think it's a fantastic example of like the Rebel community. I think, and I'm super proud. I'm super pleased with you guys as a division. So that's awesome. But if you want to go that little extra step, if you've enjoyed the recaps, if you have the ability to record and things, we are going to be looking for sports reporters really damn soon. Big shout out to Chugman who has already stepped up and is actually, I believe, this evening recording to cover 10G because one of their reporter dropped out. So if you want to be like Chug and record and help us out and record some recaps, we would absolutely love that. Let me know, and I will move on from there. Have you got anything else to say, McNugget?
Firstly, just reiterate, I've obviously the same as you, had a lot of fun recapping this division, and obviously being part of it as well has been a big enjoyment for it for me. In regards to the recappers and stuff, definitely, even if you just want to help somebody out on the cast, I know Metal's the one that does the recapping itself, and then I just turn up and shout stuff in a kind of semi-sober manner. Trust me, if you want to see the nonsense, go see what I say at the Division 10F that we do after you guys. But you know what I mean. Definitely, if you've enjoyed what we've done or the recaps you've had this season, obviously it's nice to be in a division that gets them. And unfortunately, next season we do kind of need some more people so that everyone gets that enjoyment out of these recaps and stuff. So if you are available,
the problem with Rebel is we keep on growing on coaches, but the recap teams do not grow at the same rate. Trust me. There's a reason I'm running the show and doing 2 recaps this season.
Yes, but just remember, everyone, Haringzord is the hardest working man in Rebel, so he is the one that does it all.
Worthy of note, he only does 1.
He's the hardest working man in Rebel, though.
Right. Anyway, thanks for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the recap once again. We will see you next week for the final recap. Before
second last.
Oh no, because it's week. Oh yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Are we doing one? Are we doing a roundup of the end results?
Well, yes, because how will we be able to say who made play-ins?
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah. Well,
Also, recappers, you can see what sort of level of competence you need with Metal.
no, because I didn't know if we decided to do that or not. I mean, there's technically only one more week left to talk about preemptively, and then we're going to talk about playing. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We probably will do like a shakedown at the end.
We will.
Okay, so the penultimate recap then. It technically, yeah. Okay, I'll go with that penultimate recap.
Yeah.
You all stay classier than McNugget, folks.
Goodbye.